You won't believe the secrets that hid behind the bright smiles and sharp one-liners of one of TV's most beloved families. The Jeffersons may have moved on up to the deluxe apartment in the sky, but when the cameras stopped rolling, their stars were living lives far more complex than anything ever shown on screen. These were stories of struggle, triumph, hidden truths, and quiet sacrifices that most fans never knew. Get ready, because the untold journey of the Jeffersons cast is about to unfold, and it's more surprising than you could ever imagine. Sherman Hemsley, the man who gave us George Jefferson, one of the most unforgettable characters in sitcom history. Loud, proud, and always stirring trouble, George was the kind of character you couldn't ignore. But Sherman Hemsley, the man behind the swagger, was almost the complete opposite. He was quiet, intensely private, and so shy that many of his co-stars admitted they never really got to know him beyond the set. Even when the studio audience roared at his every insult and dance step, Sherman himself often retreated into his own quiet world. He was born in Philadelphia and faced struggles early on. Dropping out of high school, he joined the Air Force, then worked for the post office during the day while chasing his true passion, acting, at night. He trained with the Negro Ensemble Company, a groundbreaking group that helped many black performers break into the industry. His big break came on Broadway in the musical Pearlie. That's where Norman Lear, the visionary producer behind so many classic shows, spotted him. Lear wanted Sherman for the role of George Jefferson on All in the Family, and later, The Jeffersons. But there was a problem. Sherman didn't want to leave New York. He loved Broadway and resisted the lure of television. Lear was so convinced Sherman was perfect for the part that he held the role open for him for an entire year, waiting until he was ready to move west and take it on. That decision changed TV history, but playing George wasn't always easy. George Jefferson was brash, rude, sometimes even cruel, and Sherman himself was a gentle soul. His co-star, Isabelle Sanford, who played Louise, jokingly called him Neck because he often sat stiffly and nervously. And yet, Sherman committed to George, creating a character so bold that even people who never watched the show knew who George Jefferson was. One funny accident from set shows just how much George and Sherman blended. During one take, Sherman accidentally called Isabelle's character Wheezy, a nickname that stuck and became one of the most iconic catchphrases in sitcom history. Off-screen, Sherman had passions no one expected. He loved music and even recorded an R&B album, but the biggest secret of his life was something he kept quiet for decades. Sherman Hemsley was a gay man. In a time when Hollywood was much less accepting, he chose to live privately, keeping his relationships out of the spotlight. Those closest to him knew, and he shared his life quietly with a partner, but he never publicly discussed it. His choice for privacy was respected, but it added another layer to his already mysterious persona. Sherman never married, never had children, and lived a simple life away from the spotlight once the cameras stopped. When he passed away in 2012, even his death sparked drama. His will left his estate to a close friend, but supposed long-lost relatives came forward, sparking a legal battle that made headlines. It was a strange, sad ending for a man who brought joy to millions. Now let's move to Isabelle Sanford, the incredible actress who played Louise "Wheezy" Jefferson. If George was the hurricane, Wheezy was the calm after the storm. She balanced out George's wildness with strength, wit, and love. But Isabelle's road to stardom was far from smooth. She was born in Harlem and dreamed of being a performer, but her mother disapproved. Isabelle chased her dream anyway, performing at small clubs and eventually the Apollo Theater. She worked regular jobs to survive, including as a key punch operator, while sneaking in rehearsals and performances. Her big break came with a role in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, a groundbreaking film tackling interracial marriage. That role gave her visibility, but true stardom didn't come until Norman Lear cast her as Louise Jefferson. At the time, Isabelle was nearly 60 years old, an age when many actresses in Hollywood were struggling to find roles. Instead, she became a star. And not just any star, she made history. In 1981, Isabelle Sanford became the first black woman to win the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. It was a moment that broke barriers for every black actress who followed her. On set, she was beloved by everyone. Her chemistry with Sherman was unmatched, and the two formed a genuine friendship off-screen. They often reprised their roles together in commercials and even made guest appearances on other shows like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Her humor and warmth made her unforgettable, both as Wheezy and as Isabelle. After The Jeffersons ended, she kept working, appearing on shows like Living Single and In the House. Isabelle passed away in 2004 at the age of 86, leaving behind a legacy of courage, humor, and groundbreaking achievement. And then there was Florence Johnston, the sharp-tongued maid played by Marla Gibbs. Nobody could spar with George quite like Florence, and audiences loved it. But did you know Marla was still working at United Airlines even after she started on The Jeffersons? For 2 years, she balanced being a sitcom star by day and a reservations agent by night. That determination showed the kind of grit she had. Her character was only supposed to appear in a few episodes, but Florence became so popular that she was made a regular. Marla earned 5 Emmy nominations for her work and even got her own spin-off, Checking In, though it was short-lived. Later, she starred in another hit sitcom, 227, which she also helped produce and where she sang the theme song. Off-screen, Marla was also a businesswoman. She opened her own jazz club in Los Angeles called Marla's Memory Lane, which ran for nearly 20 years and hosted legends from across the music world. Today, Marla is still active and beloved at 94 years old, showing the same resilience and fire that made Florence unforgettable. Roxy Roker and Franklin Cover, the actors behind Helen and Tom Willis, were television's first regular interracial couple. Roxy was a respected stage actress and a graduate of Howard University. What made her role even more striking was that she was in an interracial marriage in real life, married to producer Cy Kravitz and the mother of rock star Lenny Kravitz. When Norman Lear worried that audiences might reject the idea of an interracial couple, Roxy pulled out a family photo of herself, her husband, and their son. It convinced him to push forward. Her calm strength made Helen Willis a role model for millions of viewers. Franklin Cover, who played Tom, was a theater-trained actor who gave the character a steady, likable warmth. Together, the two broke barriers on primetime television and helped change perceptions across the country. Roxy passed away in 1995 from breast cancer, while Franklin died in 2006. But their work on The Jeffersons remains groundbreaking. The story of Lionel Jefferson is even more unique. Mike Evans originally played Lionel, the son of George and Louise. He landed the role almost by chance and became a familiar face to audiences across America. But behind the scenes, Evans wasn't satisfied. He wanted more lines, more presence, and more creative involvement. After a disagreement with Norman Lear, he left the show. But he didn't just disappear. He went on to co-create Good Times, another classic sitcom that made television history. After Mike's departure, Damon Evans stepped in as Lionel. Damon, no relation to Mike, was a classically trained singer who dreamed of opera more than sitcom stardom. Stepping into an established role was a challenge, but he made it his own. After leaving TV, Damon pursued his true passion, singing in productions of Porgy and Bess and performing internationally. His career had dramatic turns, including surviving an onstage attack by a jealous colleague. Damon also lived openly as a gay black man, carrying his truth in an industry that often made that difficult. Berlinda Tolbert played Jenny Willis, Lionel's wife, and helped portray one of TV's first interracial marriages. She appeared in every season of The Jeffersons, and later in films like Goodfellas and Harlem Nights. Later in life, she stepped away from acting to care for her parents, a quiet act of devotion that showed the depth of her character in real life. Paul Benedict played Harry Bentley, the eccentric English neighbor. Audiences believed he was British, but he was actually American, born in New Mexico. His convincing accent and quirky charm made him a fan favorite, but behind his appearance was a medical condition called acromegaly, which altered his facial features. He battled it quietly while continuing a long and impressive career in theater and film, appearing in movies like This Is Spinal Tap. And finally, Zara Cully, Mother Jefferson. She was already in her 80s when she joined the cast, after decades of stage work and teaching. Known as one of the most skilled dramatic voices of her time, she brought gravitas and wit to every scene. When she passed away in 1978, the show honored her character's death, allowing the cast and the audience to mourn together. The Jeffersons was a groundbreaking piece of television history, one that tackled race, class, and identity while making people laugh. Behind the jokes were real people with hidden struggles, bold choices, and legacies that reached far beyond the screen. They broke barriers, created opportunities, and left behind stories richer than any script could capture. And now that you've heard the hidden truths behind the Jeffersons, we want to hear from you. Which of these stories shocked you the most? Did you already know some of these secrets? Or did you just discover a new side of your favorite TV family? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And if you enjoyed uncovering these untold stories, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss another deep dive into the legends of television. Until next time, keep moving on up with us.